the High Senior Mega7. Let's talk about it. The High Senior Mega7 is a new IEM from High Senior that is in their Mega 5 line. This line includes the Mega 5P, which I don't believe I have reviewed or even heard. Also, their very famous Mega 5 EST. We'll be referencing and talking a lot about that IEM because this is kind of like a continuation of that IEM. This IEM does use branded drivers to my knowledge, and it costs around $450. I did receive this as a slight discounted unit, and I want to say thank you to High Senior for allowing me to purchase this at a discount. Sometimes I'll ask and companies will just ghost me, so I appreciate them in their support. Let's look at the build quality of this IEM. Fit and comfort of this IEM is really quite good. If you've experienced any of other High Seniors IEMs, they do IEMs very well. They're slight and comfortable. They isolate pretty well. They have a nice anti-tragus lip. I feel like they vent well, meaning that like my ears don't feel like there's excessive moisture trapped in them. And it's just a nice overall feeling to them. I like the bespoke black nature of this. It does have a metallic nozzle. Again, you can see the vented holes, and it is a flat 2-pin cable connector, meaning that changing out this IEM is a breeze, and it is not a problem at all. I like the faceplate. It's fun. It's kind of this black, dark, spacey feel. It's a nice shell. This drawing came in the packaging. I think it's kind of cool. Stay true to the original sound. We'll talk more about that later. This is their newish puck. They've been using it for a little while now. I like the feel of this. It's kind of nice. I personally just use little cases, and we'll talk about those cases later, but I like this case. It's nice. These are the tips they use. If you know me, I'm pretty stringent. I use the same tips most of the time, but it does a nice variety. You do have a 4.4 adapter, some foamies, a shirt clip, and a cloth to wipe this off, which you'll need because it is a little bit of a micro print magnet. You do have the clip for your cable, which is also a nice thing to have. Now the cable. The cable is impressive. You have stereo indications of R and L for right and left. This is a cool cable. I really like it. It has a nice chin slider that stays in place. But beyond that, it's kind of a fun, premium looking style feel. The Y split is the same. It also feels and looks premium, and it's just kind of cool. It feels metallic, and it's a nice addition at this cost. I feel like this is the kind of cable they would include in a much more expensive IEM. And so how does this sound to my ear? This has a very lovely, dynamic, bold, clean sound. It's a special sound. It's nice. It feels realistic and lifelike, and I feel like there's details and sparks to the music that make it really come alive. I think if your goal is to have a lifelike sound quality, which, you know, sometimes depending on what you want, like some IEMs, even on the higher end, have a quality that make it feel interesting or different. But like this, it just has this natural, clean feel to it. Bass is rumbly and tight. Upper mids are clean. It's a nice overall sound. Sometimes I do get some sibilance, which this IEM did. That's one of my only problems with it, but it's rare. And all around, it's just an overall nice sounding IEM. I feel like a lot of the sibilance I am getting is track dependent, but I feel sometimes IEMs will almost be able to smooth over certain things better than others. This is more of a revealing IEM that really shows what IEMs are, and that could be a good or a bad thing depending on the style of music you listen to. For me, I find this excessively perfect and enjoyable and absolutely lovely. It's a certain breed of neutral that I don't think you see very often, and I think this might be the very best neutral IEM I've ever heard. Having said that, let's look at some graphs and do some comparisons. All right, let's look at the Mega7 graph, and it is pretty nice. You'll notice it has a nice upper mids spike. It has a little bit of a 3K dip and just a little bit treble excessive that kind of gradually goes down. It has a nice bass shelf. I think my bass measurement might be a little off, or maybe in my unit I've seen other people's have a little bit more bass, but it might be just how our couplers are adjusted sometimes, or just how they are, but like it feels like it's a nice bass shelf and I don't have a problem with it. Like I would say, if I had to guess, that it's probably about 2 decibels more of where I feel like how it feels in ear. It does feel like it's an appropriate bass amount, and it's nice. I don't really have a fault with the bass, and it feels impactful, deep, and rich, which is like the most important thing for me. Now, as we look at like all the high senior, or at least some of the high senior IEMs, I want to look at the high senior Mega 5 EST. Now, note there are a couple different versions of this IEM. It's been around for a while. There's some versions that have a little bit more, 4 to 5K. There's some that dribble off. Compared to the version that I have, it's like, it's okay. I mean, I like that version of the EST, but I really think that the Mega 7's better, has better extenuated treble. You'll see up here. I don't know. I like IEMs that have a little bit of a 15K rise. I think it's maybe because I'm partially deaf, but I feel like it gets good details, and it's a nice addition to sound, for me at least. As far as other IEMs go, let's look at some of other high senior IEMs, and we have the high senior Mega 5 EST bass, which you'll notice is a ton of bass to this, but a very similar tonality. The high senior Mega 5 EST bass just kind of rolls off just a tiny bit, but the mids are about the same. You might actually want more mids from an IEM, and if you do, I think a really good bass IEM that they've actually done is the high senior Cano Crystallis. And the Cano Crystallis just has a little bit more of a lift, little bit more of an engagement in that mid region, and it has really thumpy, fun bass. The Cano Crystallis is like a fun IEM, and if you're a bass head and you want something that's colored and flavored, Cano Crystallis is a good bet. And the Mega 7 again is very much like the Mega 7 EST, and they're basically the same in many regards. There's a lot of other IEMs at this price. We talk other IEMs like maybe the Rockies. I think the treble is just as good on the Mega 7, even better. It's nice. Like AB and it's hard to say. The Mega 7, it's just a nice set. You know, it's a really good set. It's possible that maybe there's a little bit more hiss and detail here. Yeah, but it sounds good sometimes as well. So it's just a lovely, well done set. Very similar frequency response. I don't even think the Nice House Rockies is on sale yet, and it might not go on sale. Something to note about the EST and the Nice Hack Rockies is that this is $50 cheaper, which means in a year from now, it'll probably be $100 cheaper on a big sale. This is done with BAs. And what that means is that they're able to provide a high quality IEM at a lower price. EST drivers, with the tariff situation that's happening in the States, it is kind of marking up prices. You'll notice many companies, especially the Chinese companies, are very rarely doing EST drivers. So you can't think anymore that the EST drivers are really doing anything that BAs or planars can't do. And that's something to remember and consider. Do the EST drivers in the Rockies really do anything for you? I don't think so. I think you should look more at like the frequency response and other features of that sound profile to see what will be the right IEM for you. But to me, I would go the Mega 7, but suffice it to say it's extremely close. As far as other IEMs, a little bit more expensive than this, you have the Softears RSV MK2, a lot of bass. You could go with the Mega 5 EST bass. Again, this doesn't have like that treble region, excitable treble region, but it does bass really well, and it's thumpy when it needs to be. Softears RSV MK2 is a nice set. It reminds me a lot of the Mega 5 EST bass. Just something to kind of note and to kind of consider, which is a lot like the Kiwi Ear set. Let's look at that one. The Kiwi Ears X HBB Punch. And you notice they both kind of have that same amount of bass, and they're very similar. The Kiwi Ears X HBB Punch. Again, the Mega 7 is not a bassy set, but I just kind of want to show this to you since it's kind of a hype set and kind of along that train. And, it's nice that they can bring this. Like I said, this is a sweet point, and I really like IEMs at this point, and we'll talk about more of those IEMs. One of the more hyped IEMs right now, a little bit by me and a little bit by other people, is the Hercules Audio Noah. And A-being these, I will tell you that the Noah has way more forward vocals, where the Mega 7 feels richer. Like if we normalize this at 500, what you're going to notice is a ton more bass on the Noah. And the Noah's from bass heads, and it has a slight colorization of sound. One of its problems is that it doesn't really have extenuated upper air and treble, and it can kind of sound a little bit lifeless and dead, like some of the life qualities for me, right around that 10K-ish region, a little bit more raised up here. And for me, the Mega7 does lifelike better, where the Hercules Audio Noah does fun better. Like fun, bass, interesting presentation of mids. They're both great sets, but if you want a studio set, the Mega7 it's great. Another one also hyped by me is the YU9 Chue. The Q, it's the Chue, but it's whatever. This is an interesting set. You'll notice they both have very similar bass in that regards. The Mega7 does have this little bit of hump at 400, and it's a little bit more dry, even mids. What it does have, and its mids can actually feel a little bit recessed and not great, but it never does get shouty, which is a nice thing. It also has a nice dip from 4 to 5K. It like basically hugs my target right in there. And sometimes I think this is where some of that hiss region will come in. The Chue has a little bit more of that 10K to give it a little bit more life, a little bit more imagination. It's almost like an Elysian Annihilator style tuning, but light. They have different presentations for treble. And these are like the most polar opposite IEMs, like one being fun, kind of like the Noah with a little bit better, like more extenuated air. And while the other, the Mega7, is basically just natural, like the most natural, clean sound you'll ever see. And it's a very revealing set. So they have different tonalities for each, but similar in their own rights, and both great products in their own right. And so, yeah, as far as other sets go, another comparison I want to make is the Astral. This has a lot of similarities with the Astral, and in some ways the Astral might even be the better set. A little bit less 5 to 6K, a little bit bass. I don't know if the Astral has that musicality and that pristineness, but from a graph standpoint and from listening, it's really close. If you have an Astral and you're looking for a little bit more detail, you might like the Mega7, maybe a little better, but you might miss the little bit more bass that you get from the Astral, a little bit more fun. And also, like, the Astral's on sale for like $250 right now. So that's something really to consider, and that gives, to me, that shows a lot of what the Astral can do and is capable of, and really has a fun bass shelf to boost. Another IEM that I love, and this is similar to, is the Horizon. Again, the Horizon does have this dip. The Horizon does have kind of crazy upper air, and it has a little bit more bass shelf, but it doesn't sound it. This is also, they're both good sets. The Mega7's a little bit more pristine, a little bit more richer mids. But again, with the Zigat Horizon, with a lot of these sets are very similarly tuned. It's hard to justify that extra price into that extra category. And so often other companies will almost mimic what they have and what they do. And the Zigat Horizon, to me, is still a fantastic set, but it is more colorized in this air region, and it is more lifted. You might want to look at this at other graphs and see how they compare. Someone has a more technical rig for judging more air, but it's just something to note about these, that they do sound a lot different to my ear, with the Horizon being more colorized and the Mega7 being more natural, but both really nice and really competent sets. The only other IEM I want to talk about is an IEM that I have on desk, but I've been listening with and just got in yesterday, is the Duno 242. This is a nice set. We'll be talking more about this later, but this is like $100 less. It's a nice set. It's a little bit different, with a little bit of different approach to its upper mids. But I want to point this out, that they're pretty close. They're really close, and I'm a huge fan right now of the Duno 242, and I'm super impressed with it as well. All right, let's talk the Mega7. How do we rank? Solid set, 9.2, which is one of the higher ratings I've given to sets, and I think it's a really, really impressive set. The naturalness, the technicalities, the detail, the lifelike presentation that you get from your music from the Mega7 without being colorized like some other sets pull off is incredible. They've done a great job in tuning. You're like, whoa, what? The High Senior Mega 5 EST came out 2 years ago. People have been trying to mimic it, and I've always been curious of when their next lineup is. To me, this is that lineup. This is that one that to me is even better, more majestic, and just a lot more fun as a whole. It's a fantastic set. Now, I have what I call 5-star recommendation IEMs because the IEM market is crazy. I've listed it here under my 5-star under a tab I have at the bottom. Right now, 12 out of the 453 IEMs I've ranked, so it gives us about 2.6%. We're trying to keep this under 3%, and if ever it gets above that, we'll knock some of them off. But right now, I'm giving this a 5-star rating. To me, it kind of makes the Nice Hack Rockies obsolete, but you might be able to get a Nice Hack Rockies on sale or used, and I think that would all of a sudden become a better value. This is where we try to talk about value. You know, stuff like the Q or the Chue is hard to reach. Stuff like the Noah is hard to get. The Horizon's a good set, but it's colorized. Punch Audio is a good set, but it's too much bass for some. SL224, like some of these guys are really on the same league, but there are a lot of great IEMs out there. And if you find a great IEM, hold on to it. Don't let it go. The Mega7 is a great set. In fact, it's a set that at this time I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this set. As this is a purchase unit that doesn't have to go on tour or doesn't have to do anything else, I can keep this set or sell it. And we're going to keep it. It's a lovely set. I really enjoy it. These are my little boxes that I keep these things in. I think I have a link to these on in my Discord if you guys want to join. But I think the Mega7 is a beautiful set. It has great packaging, great accessories, great unboxing experience at this price. It's beautiful. It's reasonable in price. It does a great job of sounding lifelike and not dull, and that's hard to do. So I love this set. I think they've done a great job. If you're interested in it, I would encourage you guys to check it out. If you're not, you might find other IEMs that have a little bit more color or a little bit more interest to this because it can be a little bit flat. But if this is what you're looking for, a flat neutral set with nice sub bass and nice air extension on the other end, this could be it. This is a great IEM, and I'm really impressed with High Senior. They've done great here. I love this IEM. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye-bye for now.
Go!
Go!
Go on with you!